Folks, oh my God, so good to be back in front of your faces. And you already see I got my girl Kocky.K with me again. This is going to be my co-host. We ride it all the way to the wheels fall off. But we are blessed, man, just to have you guys back for another season of the Dream Teams podcast. We are definitely looking forward to just having so many different special guests. We're looking at a whole lot of different ways to just innovate the show and just put it on a higher platform. So continue to tune in to Total Defied Entertainment, and that's definitely on our YouTube channel. So I'm gonna let my girl Kocky.K introduce yourself. You know I'm the boy EDUB, E-Pop. So I'm gonna let her go ahead and run her spiel on her whole situation she got going on.
Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. What do y'all want to see more of? You see, it's EDUB, it's Kocky.K on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. You can tune in to Wait Into Inhale, the podcast. That's the number 2. And we'll be dropping some content soon. But right now, we are on the Dream Team podcast, and you heard it here first.
But listen, and we have a special. I mean, this girl is like, she means the world to me because she's like my little cousin, my little sister. But she has so many things going on. The great, the beautiful Marquita DeVeaux. All right, so Marquita, give us a little bio on yourself and what you bring to the table and who you are, because I've been trying to explain it for these last, few days, putting it out there, for everybody to see. But tell the folks what you bring to the table.
First, I want to say thank you for inviting me here. This is an honor and a privilege, and I'm so excited to be here on your platform.
Blessings.
And what I would describe myself as is a real estate developer here in Philadelphia. I'm a motivator. I'm a food critic, as everyone knows, a vegetarian food critic. But yeah, my background is I have a master's in English. I teach college English, but I have left that alone to pursue a life in entrepreneurship. I'm a restaurateur. Wow. So, I'm just happy to be here, be in front of everybody, and give as much information and, give as much value as I possibly can on this platform.
Yep.
Well, listen, we totally appreciate you. And I think for me, as I follow you every day, I watch your food tapings. And I say to myself, I said, like for somebody to have that motivation, where does that come from? Like, what gave you the thought or the premise to say, like, you know what, I'm going to just start being, I'm going to go into these places and I'm going to trying to establish some type of platform to let people know that being a vegan and being able to eat a certain way, is it more about the lifestyle of the person that's actually eating vegan, or is it more you just critiquing the actual restaurant?
Okay, so I want to be clear. I'm vegetarian. Now, I did go completely vegan when I first stopped eating meat. I was completely vegan for about a year and a half.
Oh, so it is a difference.
It's a big difference.
So what's the difference between veganism and vegetarian?
So vegan is not eating anything from an animal. Anything. Dairy, eggs, any of those things. Where my eating, I don't eat seafood still. I don't eat meat. But I do eat things from an animal, such as like dairy, eggs, and things like that. So you will see me eating pizza a lot. Yeah, cheese. But I still don't eat seafood, and I still don't eat meat. So I'm a very strict vegetarian, but nonetheless, it is still vegetarian, not vegan, because I still eat things from an animal.
So let me ask you, what was your biggest transition going from, when I know how you grew up, because I grew up in damn near in that same household. How did you go from being that disciplined to go from eating meat like primarily your whole life to just going cold turkey and becoming, a vegan where you're eating something that's kind of like a subsidiary of what you would normally eat? Did that transition take a while? It's something that you?
That's a great question. So my cousin, Ratu, who you are familiar with.
It's my brother.
He originally had been talking to me about not eating meat for years. I had been hearing him talk about it, telling me the benefits, and I had been listening to him for years and years and years. It wasn't until, so he was one influence, I will say that, but it wasn't until I watched What the Hell? I think it's still on Netflix.
It's
I'm not
on
sure.
Netflix.
Okay,
it's still there?
No, so it's called What the Hell?
What the Hell?
Wow.
I watched that, cold turkey, done. I went vegan immediately, and then after about a year and a half, I just couldn't. It was too hard. So I want to be clear. I love everything restaurant.
Okay.
So so that is my addiction. People think I'm addicted to food. It's not really what I'm addicted to. I'm addicted to everything restaurants.
Okay.
I love the experience. I love going in. I love seeing different, how people have different cuisines and influences. I just love that.
Yeah, I thought it was so dope. The other day I was on your channel, and I thought it was super dope what you said about, like, and I was saying that to myself just watching you the one day, and I said, well, damn, what is she doing with all this food? Because I know she's not eating all of this, like, in one sitting. So then you said you came back, I think, the next day, or you might have said it somewhere, like, you know, in that particular episode, you said doggy bags given to the homeless or given to the underprivileged, folks out here on these streets, because we do have a real crisis with, homelessness.
Yes,
and I just thought that was so awesome, because just because you do what you do doesn't necessarily mean you have to do what you said you were doing. Meaning, I'm going to take this to Joe sitting here. I see him all the time when I'm coming through downtown, and I'm going to just give these folks. So what even give you that inspiration to want to do that, to give back, knowing that, I mean, it's dangerous out here, and you're a woman on top of that.
It is. You have to be very careful, because a lot of the homelessness really centers around mental illness, I want to say.
Okay.
Because it's a lot of funding and things like that for people to get food, get shelter. So a lot of people just want to be outside, because if you have schizophrenia and things like that, you want to kind of be free.
Got you, yeah.
So it is dangerous giving this food out. But ever since I can remember, I mean, I've always been a restaurant person. I always loved restaurants. So I will always go to restaurants, and I will always try to get a doggy bag. But as you see on my reviews, I am inside of a car all the time.
Right.
So it's already kind of packaged up. Now, I'm not going to lie. I will eat on the food. So when you see me eating, I'm taste testing it.
Right.
Don't get it wrong. I want that to be my food for the day.
Okay.
But lately I've been getting food that I don't like. So, So in the beginning it was easy, because I'm going to places I've been to. I know I like it. So as we start getting to, like, then we're at like 100 videos, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, you're at 98. I keep
counting. So it's like now I'm going to places I don't necessarily, I haven't been to. So I get the food and I'm like, oh my God, I hate it. So I'm gonna be clear too. I'm taking my food back from the. If I don't like it, I'm taking. If something's wrong with it, it has to go back, because I'm wasting. It's too much. It's too costly to have to pay for what I don't like. Then, because the food that I get, I do want to eat as well for dinner or for that day. So when I get all these items, like the other day, you were like, "How are you eating all this stuff? And you're not 2,000 pounds." That was so much food.
You make me hungry every time I go to the channel. That's the other thing too. I be like, want to say through the screen, like, "Kitty, can you give me a little piece of that?"
Yo, Cracker Barrel and Olive Garden, those two was so much food. Olive Garden, I dropped it. So I am a little behind on the other social. So if you want to get the reviews like firsthand, YouTube is where to go. Because I'm behind on the Instagram. They're like catching up. I'm like 4 videos behind on Instagram. But so Olive Garden just dropped on like Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. But it was so much food for those 2 reviews. Oh my God. But the food was good. So something like that, it takes me all day to eat. Then maybe the next day I'll go downtown and start giving it out. But I'll try to eat it though.
That's nice. I know I heard you say earlier that you had a master's.
Yeah.
And you decided to be an entrepreneur. I think that's interesting. I'm a girl who went to college and graduated.
Awesome.
I have my bachelor's of science. And I'm just curious, what made you not go the traditional education route and try to thrive in being an entrepreneur?
Great question. So, my mother, my family, I think that they would be happy with anything that I'm doing, but I do think that my family was so proud of me getting the master's degree. Then I went back to school and got a postmaster's degree. So much education, and my family was so proud of me getting all this education.
We still are.
And I appreciate that. So it was very difficult. One of the most difficult decisions of my life was to turn away from a very solid career where I'm making, $150,000 or more a year. And
that's really saying something too. Seriously.
As a young person too. I mean, I made a lot of money as a very young person, because I started full-time entrepreneurship. I was around 30 years old.
Right.
When I left and said, you know what, I have to focus full-time on the real estate development, investing, and just giving it all my attention all day, every day. Not going to work and coming home part-time.
Now, I'm glad you said that, Keita, because I want to ask you something. Like, So when was there, like, you know, we always have those high points and those low points. Give me a time where you really considered, I think I made the wrong decision. I might want to go back to doing my teacher thing, only because they always say your first 5 years of business is the most difficult. So when you're starting out, and I know there was those times, what made you have the fortitude to literally stay in tune with what your ultimate goal, which was, I mean, as we see now, you're actually successful at what you do. So
I mean, these are great questions. Like, I want to go back every day. I mean, it's hard every day. I want to stop all the time, to be honest with you. These are things entrepreneurs are not going to say to you. Okay. I mean, I have an alternative that most entrepreneurs don't have. I have a lot of education, and they pay me a lot of money for what I know. Right. Even with the behavior analysis, that's what pays the most. That pays more than teaching. Okay. So, you know, it's hard. It's like, why am I stressing and struggling and not?
You can just do the one
when
thing.
I can just go to work.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge every single day of my life. It's not easy to just keep making a decision.
And I can only imagine. I mean, of course, I'm not privy in that way, but we all have our own hustle mentality. Yeah. And it's something that me and Kira talked about off camera before, you know, you came on to the show today. But it was interesting when she said, "E, what's the difference?" And I want you to answer this question, Kita, because I think it's a great one for you. Is what's the difference between an entrepreneur and a hustler? Like, give me, or is
and
it?
At what age did you know you was either or?
There you go.
Okay, so to anyone who does not know me, I have been like this my entire life. For everyone who knows me, they're like, "Oh my God, that's King. She's been like that forever." I don't remember a time where I was not a hustler. Like, you know, my family has seen that in me forever. I mean, I remember being 12 years old, you know, where we're from, Pentown is the neighborhood that we're from, and I remember being 12 down on the corner shooting dice at 12 years old.
That's the neighborhood we grew up in.
Yeah, and what I would do, people reminded me of this. I totally forgot about this. But people reminded me I would take like a $20 bill, go to the Chinese store, get all ones. So it looks like a lot of money. Yeah. So I would have all this money. They'd be like, "All right, let it play. Yeah. So I always thought in terms of, you know, how can I multiply my money? Yeah. Always. But I think at times when you get older and you're in the entrepreneurship, you have to push everything to the side. Right. Everything that's not bringing you forward. I mean, everything.
And right, because that's the main difference between a hustler and an entrepreneur. Go.
That's when it starts to change. When you
listen, I'm so excited because, like I said, I got my system, my you know, like on this show, and it's so dope because I never forget when I reached out to one of your real estate. You had posted something, I think it was either on Facebook. I'm almost positive Facebook, but you were walking through one of your properties. And I said, well, damn, I didn't know Cuz was doing it like this. I said, I got to really check her out. Yeah. So when I really started to really do the background, I said, oh, Kita been really kicking butt. So I just want to give you your flowers and just show you how proud of you I am, just because the lineage you come from, I mean, we could have ultimately been so many other things, right? So for you to be able to establish yourself in the business world as a woman, let's be clear there, and really
of color.
Exactly, and predominantly working with people of color, how do you find that balance where you don't just step out into a whole nother realm? Because you can technically just say, like, I can leave all you guys behind and just switch to the other side, but you've always seemed to stay with the home team and try and make it work to the best of your ability. Is that something that you thought about, or it was just like, I'm going to do it for my folks regardless?
Great question. I'm gonna be honest with you. In the beginning, I did hire a lot of our culture, Black people, and things like that. After time, so we have a couple different things that I hire people for. So, you know, real estate development is one thing. That's a whole thing. Be honest with you. I'm plumbers, electricians, my cement people, they are all Black. Okay. My everyday laborers are not. They're from Ecuador. The ones that are hammered to nail every single day. Yeah. See, because with electrician, plumbing, you come in, do roughing for a couple days and things like that, then you come back at the end and then put the fixtures on. Right, exactly. But that everyday hammered to nail, telling you right now, they are from Ecuador. Now, in my restaurant, I still do, you know, hire Black people. But in my kitchen, Guatemalans. I mean,
got you.
I have to stay focused on the goal at all times, no matter what as a leader, some people ostracize you, all this, constantly about your decisions.
Yeah.
But the goal is the number one thing.
Exactly.
And to keep that focus is very hard.
Yeah. And I want to kind of like touch on that a little bit because you find it as being, not only, employee of your own company, but you're also the coup. So with that being said, how do you find that balance where or do you have a staff or team that says, hey, when we bring someone in, do you ultimately make the last term decision on who stays, who goes, or do you have somebody else to help you with that balance to say, kid, I think he's good, you know what I mean, just to, because your success is everything. Like you said, in reaching that ultimate goal, you want to make sure, like you said, I have the right people in position. But was that hard for you to kind of do that, where you just kind of shut us out, just because we are lazy as a culture? I'm sorry to say it, but we are. So to just get the Guatemalans, you know what I mean?
I want to be clear, there are some hard-working black people.
There
are some hard-working black people. I'm serious. It's a lot of lazy ones, but there's some hard-working black people. But listen, the easiest way to make your decisions is to focus on the goal. And the culture that you want. So you want a certain culture in your environment. So if these people that you're hiring are not with that culture, they could be the hardest working person in the world. Yeah. But if their attitude or anything about them is not a part of the culture you're trying to have, it's not going to work. Because the success of everything you do is determined on the people working for you.
Gotcha.
Because it's a reflection in a way. If you have poor customer service at any of your places, it's going to be like, why would I want to support this black woman or these black people if this is what I'm getting? The food is good, but it took an hour or it took 2 hours. So things like that, I feel like that's big. It's a reflection of you in a way, and it's the goal that you're trying to reach.
For sure. And customer service is one thing, but it's also like a culture amongst your staff. Mm-hmm. Just for them to work together, the camaraderie, to get the job done.
Chemistry, yes. That means everything.
Everything. That's everything. One person.
And
one bad
apple.
One bad apple could,
one bad apple. And like she said, everything falls on me. So if it's running well, great job, King. If it's running bad, Key, would you believe what happened when I came? So everything falls on me as a reflection of me, not even the brand.
So how do you balance work and just living life and making time for yourself?
Oh, that's a great one. I wanted to ask that one myself. Because and before you answer this, I swear to God, I was going to ask Marquita this, and this was just off camera, me and just her talking to his family, how do you balance that? And she hit it right on the head. I'm dying to hear this one.
There is no balance.
Oh,
it's all work.
Somebody being real.
It's all work. There is no balance. Now that I'm older, I'm 40 now. When I started investing full time, I was 30. I was younger. I could kind of do more. So we just come up with systems. I hire really good people just to kind of push everything forward for me. So when you see the Key Sticking to It brand, that is me, but there's a lot of people working, pushing that forward.
Okay.
So you just got to hire the right people. You have to be a certain leader to make people want to work for you.
Yeah.
So you have to push everything to the side that's not making you that great of a leader.
Do you find yourself a fun boss, a boss that is relatable, or someone I'm no nonsense and we got to get the job done?
I am no nonsense, but I'm also not a mean person. In the restaurant,
that's not your spirit.
No, not at all. And in the restaurant business, they are used to tyrants.
Okay.
And I'm not like that.
Okay.
So a lot of people think, I'm lenient. But I'll just say, you know what, this is not working out. Please leave. I'll say it real calm. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, wow, that was the politest way I've ever been let go. But I just stay focused on a vision. Because if I look at, people's stories and listen to, just start feeling empathetic, that might be pushing my vision to the side.
How do you pour into yourself then? If you take in all of these different personalities, all of these different businesses, how do you pour back into yourself since you're pouring so much out?
I really, the best
hobbies.
thing. So the number one thing
I do probably is working. Don't keep it.
My hobby is going to restaurants. If I have a bad day, I'm going out to eat. I go to a restaurant and then I have really good friends. Really good friends.
That's beautiful.
Really good family, and they pour it into me. So I'm real thankful for the family and friends. That's it. That's who pours into me. I don't have outlets. I got rid of every vice. people who know me know I was a party animal. You know, I was a party animal all throughout my 20s, so they can't believe, like, my lifestyle now. It's like, I haven't had a drink in 12 years. You know, did anything in so many years. I don't gamble anymore. You know, when I was 12, I was gambling outside. So I haven't gambled in so long.
That you've done, if you could do it all over again, would you change anything? Like, not necessarily regrets, but
I probably, if I could, would, but I know that it wouldn't let me be who I am today. So yeah, I mean, obviously I know a lot more, so it would be things I would want to go back and change that I know. But at the same time, it wouldn't make me the leader I am, just the experience to be the educator I am. Build character. Because I'm going to be honest with you, before investing, before entrepreneurship, anything I put my mind to, I got it. I got it done. But then when it came to a team and having to motivate other people to get my goal accomplished, now it's not just about what I can do.
It's not just about you. It's relying on other people.
You know, and you know what's so dope too, which is great for you. You had mentors that were literally like right in front of you. Meaning, she has an older cousin, which is my little brother, but David Hoyle, who, hey, listen, I'm a plug it man, but Philly Auto, I got my car from there, and I just like to say that, you know, like, she's had a great motivation in terms of in-house, where you saw people before you try things that, even if it motivated you to go that route, you knew, okay, I kind of understand, or I can go talk to them and see, okay, because I do have a cousin like, you know, Asatu, who owns a couple properties, or I can go to my cousin, you know, which are, they like your big brothers anyway, but I can go to Dave and find out, like, how did he start his business in terms of that. But I wanted to ask you, just before we wrap this up, so what's next for Marquita DeVeaux with all of these balls you're juggling? I can't imagine that you would put anything else on your plate, but I know there has to be a what next.
I would say I'm going to just focus on speaking. That's the number one thing I want to focus on. Obviously, a lot of content. So we're going to drop even more. I know we were saying I drop every day. I want to drop even more.
Wow.
And then I just want to focus on public speaking. That's what's
so. Now, when you say public speaking, who are we talking about in terms of, like, or is it just a stream of folks you're trying to reach, or is it it's like a whole genre of folks that you want to eventually reach out to? Is it, because as we talked before, you were talking about the whole mental health thing. Is it you're trying to reach out to people that need that, like you, that motivation?
Like an advocate, or are you going to be a public speaker, a religious public speaker? Like, what does public speaking, what do you think is going to take you?
I don't have a specific audience. I just think anybody who's willing to get some, you know, energy that's going to push them forward throughout their days.
Congresswoman?
No. I'm glad she said that.
She said,
I will never, mark my words, never get into politics. Ever. That's not in the cards for me. I will never get into politics.
God, that's too funny.
That's
funny. Well, listen, we appreciate you so much, baby. We got to have you back again. And I said this before, and people, if you don't know, again, this is Marquita DeVeaux, and she explained to you guys, she's totally in tune to what's going on out there. So like I said, y'all, restaurant critic, we're talking somebody who's literally established in the educational world. When you talk about being an advocate for just all of the things that a black woman is doing here in America, and we talk about it, like I said, you know, motivation is the key, but the communication is the reward. You have to communicate with your folks. So tune into her channel, the YouTube channel. Keep sticking to it, please. And again, y'all can reach us on Total Define Entertainment. My girl Kocky.K, who's my ultimate co-host. Hey, again, she's got the Waiting 2 in Hell coming to you soon. Thanks, Key.
Oh, yeah, that was
amazing.
Yeah, that's why I say it amazes you when somebody of that stature, she's motivated through self. Because, you know, usually we need those motivational factors. Like, I talked to you on the last show. 7 kids, 4 grandkids. Like, yo, I gotta stay motivated.
You got 7 kids?
7.
You got 7 kids?
7. 33 all the way down to 13.
7.
5 baby moms.
What?
Yeah.
13 to 33? That's a lot of
That's a lot of decades.
Hey, listen, I got to start off with this, right? I'm telling you, man, this has probably been the best Olympics from start to finish, and I mean every sport. And I know, Kay, you're not really big into sports, but I just wanted to give the USA big ups, man. Listen, Steph, you put them to noit. You did your thing, and we appreciate y'all. Y'all keep going out there and doing just big things moving forward because y'all teaching these young guys how to really represent the country, man. And it's a blessing just to see how well our Americans held things down out there. So I'm just totally elated.
I don't watch sports, but I did tune into some of the Olympics, like the clips. I know that people was joking about the breakdancing. I know that that
was crazy.
New.
I just peeped that the other day because I was like, wait a minute. Are they really breakdancing for a gold
And they
medal?
had Snoop Dogg introduced it, I heard. They had my nigga Snoop up there.
Classic.
Snoop is getting to the bag, and I love that for him.
Yo, I do too. And people don't realize, man, like, you talking about a guy who come all the way. Murder was the case. It was a song. So just to think how far he's grown, matured, and now here it is. We got a real nigga that's really representing the whole United States just on the frontal basis. And like you said, that's a real good look for him.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, power to our folks, man. So what we got? What you want to talk about this week? And, you know, like, give me some things.
Since we talking about USA, it's funny that we don't ever unite until it's something big like sports and stuff. Let's talk about Kamala. And I know you wanted to talk about the hip hop, the anniversary of hip hop.
That's a great one.
I want us to just talk about how she's now into the presidential race, and now they're talking about her race, which I think is irrelevant, and they always going to bring up, because when Obama was going, remember they was trying to say he wasn't black enough, or he was too black.
Right. Well, you know, it's always going to be something, but this is the beautiful thing of it all. We're talking about a black woman who literally is going to possibly be the first. Yeah, and that
nonetheless.
Exactly. So just to basically put a whole nother gender in politics in terms of the balance of the way things, because I think if she becomes president, it changes the whole narrative moving forward in terms of just world power. So if she can accomplish that, which I think she's very capable of doing so, the sky's the limit, because she's definitely going to look out for us.
I'm glad that you believe that she's capable of.
Oh, my God.
Did you hear Trump say, go out and vote? You won't have to vote in the next 4 years. You won't have to vote again. Just vote this one time.
Yeah.
Did y'all hear that?
Yeah, that tells you everything you need to know and why his ass
a dictatorship.
Exactly.
That's what that sound like.
Exactly.
I don't want no parts of that.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, because he was on some cloning Tyrone bullshit. And it's funny, Kay, because I did watch that movie. I did get a chance to catch up to it.
That shit was crazy.
That was deep. But that's what Trump, if you look at how he's trying to monopolize or manipulate our gender, or our culture, I should say.
Our generation,
yeah,
our
man,
media,
it's almost despicable, because it's unfortunate that, like, we know as just people that have been to school, understand the logistics of life a little bit. You know, like, okay, I ain't falling for the BS. You understand what I'm saying? But if you don't know, you don't vote, because, like, let's be real.
If you don't know, then you thought that Trump gave you that stimmy check. And it don't matter who was the president.
But see, that's my thing, too. Though. Anybody under 35, truth be told, I don't even know if they're voting. Unless they got a family that just was voters.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I can see that.
Yeah.
I believe you.
And here's the other thing, too, like, for young, just say young blacks, right?
Yeah.
Their thing in their head is like, well, what am I voting for? Because
my voice ain't heard anyway.
And because they don't know what the narrative is. Like,
or did we talk about, you can win the popular vote, but you can lose the electoral elections? Because remember, Hillary won the popular vote, but lost the electoral colleges, which I think is some BS too. The whole electoral colleges thing. Like, who the hell is the electoral colleges? Who the people? Who?
Yeah, like, you know, but...
And why are their voices more important than the popular vote?
One thing we'll never understand, and that's just why I say politics is bullshit, but I think the way things are done, because it's got to be a group effort by Congress to pass a law. So to me, that front person is really everything, because if she's going to be our spokesperson, she's definitely going to put us in a position where, like I said, I think we on the back end of that come out where the middle class can now once become a middle class again, and there's just no rich and you just bottom of the barrel poor. So
because regardless of if she's black or Indian, she's a woman of color, and we know that minorities have a different version of the American dream. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And what we had to go through in this country and how we built this country. Whether you're a person of color That's what we're talking about right now. And I know we was talking about, you wanted to say the hip hop, the anniversary. You said she hosted it?
Oh, well, now, see, it's funny because, I mean, I kind of got that from my producer, man.
Okay.
And it's a sin because I really didn't do my homework on that. But I will touch on that topic, y'all, when we come back on that, because bad me. But, you know, he sent it a little late, so I can give him a little bit of that blame. But I wanted to ask you something since we on a subject, I want to lighten the mood. What are your thoughts on people coming outside looking any kind of way, whether it's bonnets, pajama bottoms with Uggs, do-rags, sitting in a restaurant next to you and your dude, y'all trying to have an intimate dinner. But just in general, how do you feel about people just coming outside looking any kind of way? And do you hold even yourself accountable when you step out the house?
So there has been a few times where I had to run to the car or something, and I might have had a scarf on. But in general, I was brought up in a household where you're supposed to present yourself in the best light. Everything you do at your best.
So you wasn't walking to the corner store with rollers in your hair?
I was going to get a whooping if I walked outside with pajamas on. I have never done that on my life. I can guarantee you that. I've never had no pajamas on outside. Now, as far as a scarf or something like that, real quick, maybe. As a child, probably was on the step with a scarf on. But at this big age, I feel like it gives off careless. It gives off
ratchetness.
It does give off ratchet.
Yeah, on some real shit. Because I tell you what, it's funny that we even have this topic because you're never going to be with me and be in no fucking pajama bottoms, a bonnet, rollers in your hair. All of that should have been figured out before we even talked about where we were going to go. And here's the other thing. If I'm a reflection of you and you are a reflection of me, ain't no way, no, you need to go upstairs, put some clothes on, and then you figure out what you're going to do because you should have made enough time. And it's funny because me and my girl fight about this all the time. I always call, I'll be like, yo, listen, so it's 12:21 now, right? I need you to start prepping because it'll take her at least an hour and some change because she hates to get dressed.
Right.
But again, it's the presentation.
Yes, it's the presentation. Because like you said, you only have one time to make a first impression. Exactly. You can't redo a first impression.
Not at all.
Ain't no way. You can't re-meet somebody that you already met for the first time. So make a good first impression. If you care.
I mean, but again, I think that's one of the things that, like, as we talked about, off camera was like, you have to be pretty much a judgment of yourself. Like, who am I a reflection of?
Yeah, fuck what everybody else thinks. What do you think of yourself? And how do you want to see yourself? How do you want to look in the mirror? What do you see?
And to me, like, and I've always just been a real big proprietor to that. Like, I have to, for me, it's like always been a standard. So I'm not coming out the house without, they know, like, if he ain't sneaks ain't matching his shirt and his shirt ain't somehow correlating with his shorts, yeah, he ain't get dressed today. But you would never catch me out of pocket like that unless it's a situation where we just on some type of vacation and I started running out of clothes and I had to start mixing and matching shit. You know what I mean? But other than that, you're never going to see me flaunt like that. It's not going to happen.
Speaking of standards, I think that would be a perfect way to ask you, what did you learn coming up? What were your messages regarding money? Like, what do you think you were taught about money, having standards, just in general? Like, what did you see? What were you told?
Yo, it's funny. You already talked about it, prior to, just because I was sitting in the back was, some things we just as a culture, and I'll put this out there for all you viewers, we as a culture, we don't get fed the right information, right? So when we go to school, right, you go from 1st to 12th grade, how many of those classes taught you how to open a bank account? How many of those classes actually taught you how to get great credit? How many of those classes taught you about life insurance and knowing how to preserve what's left of your generational wealth?
Man.
See, these are things that I like to really get into because a lot of people don't understand there's a whole lot of ways to put yourself in position.
Yes.
But if you're not taught and you don't know, and back to her question, which was, how do you learn how to handle money? If you've never had money, you don't know how to handle it.
You know how to
so if you have somebody that knows, somebody that understands, I can give you that game, but now whether or not you follow the script, that's up to you.
Yeah.
Because we all have a standard that we want to reach. Now, if your goals is to be, at 30 years old, I want to have $30,000 saved in the bank. Okay, well, that might equate to you saving $100 each month for the next 30 or 300 months, right? Whatever the case may be, but it'll put you in position. But it's always a systematic way of doing things. And to me, because we're not taught in school,
not taught at home either. We're not taught at home either.
And I'm gonna touch on that too. Here's the thing too, because if your parent didn't have it, they don't know.
How I'm gonna teach you to have it?
Exactly. So there's no way to really sit there and say, oh, here's the best case scenario for what you should do. Now, how you should do it, I could give you a whole lot of different ways to build your credit. I could go a whole lot of ways to save money.
Right.
But again, everybody's situation is different. Me and my girl just talked about a situation with my own son. Like, if you're not making the money or you're not getting the hours and you're not in position to be able to put that money to the side,
right.
you have to figure a way to counterbalance that with maybe, okay, I might have to get another job.
Yeah.
Okay, I might have to cut back on this. So, you know, in okay, we can't eat steak this week. We might have to get hot dogs and baked beans. And we talked, remember, you talked about that a couple episodes ago about understanding where you are in life. But I think, like I said, ultimately getting back to your question to try and answer it the best way I can is, I really don't know if there's a certified or clear answer for how do we become more financial stable in our culture, because, again, we were always taught to be just really undisciplined when it comes to money.
Exactly, undisciplined. You always hear keeping up with the Joneses. Now it's keeping up with the Kardashians, but like...
Or keeping up with the internet, as far as I'm concerned.
Keeping up with the internet?
Yeah, because when you look at it and the perception is you see dudes on the internet or you see a person doing something, you want to emulate that, but you don't want to put the work in for it to be, you know, for you to capitalize on it. No, he didn't just become rich overnight. Yeah, go back in his docu and you really see where he started from, and you'll see that it took hard work.
And maybe it's an illusion.
Could be.
Maybe.
Because everything that looks like what it is, it ain't what it is.
Everything that shine ain't gold, baby.
Listen,
it ain't. The only thing I learned from my parents growing up, I can say the only conversations about money we had was when we played Monopoly. I had to look back. The only thing I remember is my parents always buying new things for themselves, and every time I asked for something, I didn't get it when I wanted it, but I got it eventually. So I never thought that making money or having money was the issue. I thought money make the world go round. I thought money was easy.
Listen, I completely
Even though my parents, they worked hard. Don't get me wrong. They worked more than I probably saw them. But I also know that they provided a nice life for us.
You know what's funny? Like, and I'll give people this narrative from me. Like, I've been in this world now 55, almost 56 years. And I've learned after becoming an adult, you know, the do's and don'ts in life. And then trust me when I tell you, I've literally, so let's just do this. How much, and I'm going to just throw this out there lightly to you. I got 7 kids, 5 baby moms. Just give me a figure on child support that you think I might have paid out in child support in, just say, the 30 years that my oldest daughter, as of September 3rd, will be 33 years old. Give me a figure, and I'll tell you if you're hot, cold, or you're almost there. In terms of money, how much money I spent just on child support. So I'll give you a narrative, right? My cousin called me yesterday. He said, yo, E, you ain't gonna believe this shit. I said, yo, what's going on? He said, man, I just got a call from the Jersey courts, and they basically telling me they're gonna pay me my $3,300 they owe me. I said, well, why you chuckle like that? He said, yo, they got a nerve enough telling me they're gonna pay me $330 over the next 10 months, but they took the whole $3,300 from me right off the rip. Yeah. So I just say all that to tell people, like, yo, it's really no joke. But when I say in terms of finances, I probably paid well over $300,000 or $400,000 in child support in the 20 plus years I was in the system. And I say that to say that, like, that's where I say you have to really hone your skills as being financially literate.
I want to talk about child support too.
Oh, man.
Because I know some people are for child support and they against child support. Me, personally, I don't have any children, so I'm for child support.
I hear you.
But all of the women in my life, they don't take advantage of child support because they don't think that...
We could really end the show, and I could talk about this with
we can end the show on this one.
But I'm going to tell you this, right? This is crazy, and I think it's something that... If you look from a woman who's been scorned, meaning she's been done wrong, she might have a different perspective. But if you got somebody that's active,
do you think that's fair to be put on child support?
So here's the thing, and that's why I'm glad we let into that, because I was an active father, but an absent father that makes sense. I was actively giving money, but I wasn't. There, thank you. So, and it's a difference. So that becomes with the mother
a problem.
Personal. Because it's like, dude, the money's cool, but I need you to take your kids and go somewhere and do something with them, right? So it makes some of us feel like, why do I gotta do both?
Yeah.
But no, having a child, the child support itself is exactly what it's called. It's support.
Supporting the child.
It's not you taking care or nurturing, because when you said about the single mom and single dad thing, we could talk about that on the next show.
Yes, we can.
But I'm gonna tell you something, like, I give the moms all of the kudos in the world.
They've been holding it down for so long.
My mom has done this, and it rubbed off on me, even though I wasn't, like I said, I didn't have a father present in my household.
Right.
But you really wouldn't have never knew the difference, because she made it clear to me what a man's supposed to do. Now,
did you have male figures in your life, even if it wasn't?
No, not at all. Unfortunately, my friends was my peers. And that's why I got 7 kids, because my peers were telling me, oh, man, she ain't for you, then just go ahead and get with the next joint. You know what I mean? So I missed one bus and got on the next one. But unfortunately, it became a whole lot of riders on that bus. So I had to figure it out. And I think that's one of the things that you do learn. So now I teach my own sons how to navigate certain situations. Like, listen, don't be shit like your dad. And that's just really how I tell them. In terms of relationships, if you want to look at anything that's been stable for me, it would be the last 3 years that I spent with this girl behind off camera. But before that, I was such a egotistical asshole, just to keep it real with you. Like, I didn't care who I fractured, who I hurt. And the support factor of it all became like, oh, I can give you money. That ain't a problem. But no, dude, I need you to spend some time with your children.
Quality time.
And that's where, like, this is just going to mess you up, okay? My relationship with my kids became even strained, because as they got older and they started to figure it out and get in their own relationships, damn, Dad, why wasn't you doing? You know what I mean? So
you get to compare and contrast. Like,
and then they even gave me kudos in the ways where they said, Dad, how could it be possible that you were able to have all of us and still be able to maintain that balance? But they don't know all of the tricks and trades I had to, you know what I mean? Or the fiery hoops I had to jump through in order to make it, something of like a decent way of sharing them, understanding it, like it was going to be a blended family.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, taking the time to say, hey, listen, you know what? I did screw that up. I'm going to try my best to get better. But that's always.
In any of your relationships, were you not with the mother prior to the birth, or it fell out after?
Well, Kiara, in my experience, unfortunately, I was doing a lot of stuff that I should have been doing. And it really ultimately led to me growing up, but also understanding that, like, yo, it's a responsibility to having a family.
Responsibility, because a lot of people plant the seed and don't water it.
See, that's why I say you please, folks, don't get raised by the jungle that you live in, because trust me, I'm a living testament to that. And the reason why I tell y'all this is because I'm about to tell Kocky.K some shit that just I don't tell everybody. But I thought, you could take care of 3 different households. I thought you could juggle. But when you want that time, she want that time, she want that time, and I come to your house and say, I'm not hungry. Nigga, I just made dinner, and now you ain't hungry because, you ate somewhere else.
You getting what you need.
Exactly. So that's where I just say, like, it's so many levels to this whole, even when we go back to the original question about support, because it's dependent on how you support that situation. Because everybody's situation is different, meaning, like, you might have a great job. So, I really don't need the money.
Right.
I just need you to come here and take care of your daughter.
Right, visitations.
Yeah, handle your business, because I want to do something with my significant other, and your daughter's over here running around rampant, and you ain't gave me a break in almost 6 months. So that's where that balance comes in at. But when I hear the word support, that's what sticks out to me, more just supporting in terms of a physical presence. The other portion there, like you said, if you want to get into the financial part of it, man, we could have about 10 guys that I know on here as guests, and I'm telling you, they would have stories for days, folks. And one in particular, he could probably have a story for the rest of his life, but he don't vote because of it, because he said dollar for dollar, when we pay $1 in support, the state gets $1. So They
never
maximize
knew
when
that.
every time a new client or new
I
gets
bet.
taken to court. Yeah. So the state.
See, that's why I heard somebody on Instagram say that child support was for the government, not for the family.
And that's really what it is.
And after I
That's
seen
really
that
what it
video,
is.
that's where I changed my perspective. Because of course you have
Yup.
some cases where it's a deadbeat dad, but in some cases, you know, I'm doing what I can do and supporting in the ways that I can show up. So, yeah, it definitely gave me a different perspective. But child support, my mom, she ended up acquiring her house from child support.
Wow.
Her baby dad wasn't paying the payments or whatever, and they just said, you might as well just relinquish your rights to your ownership of their home.
Wow.
Just to pay that back child support.
Hey, I tell you, I've seen some crazy stuff. I mean, I'll give you this one last example. We were in court, and this guy was a fireman. He was making $90,000+ a year. And I'm talking, this is probably about 15, 20 years ago. This is just goes to show you the overtime he was working to accomplish this. He said right to the judge, I can't make this shit up. There's got to be my witness. He said, today will be my last day as a fireman. He said, you know why I'm telling you guys this? Because I'm not going to pay this chick $900 a month. He said, y'all might as well just put me on the street. And he meant
and
it.
it get like that.
No,
that's why niggas
it becomes
do
personal.
Jobs under the table or they sling. You feel me? Because I don't want the government in my pockets.
I got somebody that I'm with that literally was with a person that they did that. They literally worked under table jobs just so they wouldn't have to pay the child support. Hey, listen, y'all. This is the Dream Team. I got my girl Kocky.K in the building with me. We always rocking and rolling. Just look forward again to more content. She's going to start doing, you see how I was doing EDUB thoughts, right? Well, now Kocky about to come with her own little...
Connecting with Kocky.
No, so that's it. Look, she done shut it down. So again, man, tune in to the Dream Team, and that's on Total Defined Entertainment. It's always a beautiful thing when my folks are sitting here with me. Just subscribe, like, comment, and again, it's always love from your boy EDUB.
Dropping gems coming soon. More gems coming.
Yes.
Dropping gems.